Also, total liquidity is breaking out. We see these wedge patterns every time around the same time in the cycle. And then what happens is as soon as it breaks out, Bitcoin breaks out too. We're breaking out now. China is leading it. China's injected $8 trillion of liquidity so far since, I think, October, November 2022.
The Trader Skew replied in a post on X by asking if walking price down would cause price to bounce. They talked about order book spoofing, which is when large bands of liquidity are put in place at a certain level and then thinned out or taken away completely after the price responds. This kind of behavior is usual in cryptocurrency markets, but not allowed on legacy markets. When trading resource material indicators, they point to a time when one or more whales tried to break through BTC price resistance by buying a lot on Binance, the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. This record was set at $77,200 Bitstamp, but it didn't last long. I know it seems strange to say this after a week, but Bitcoin is acting strangely and not doing well, and many critics will agree with this. When it broke through, Panda told people who follow XF to stay skeptical because its moves used to be strongly upward all the time, but these days they don't happen very often. More money needs to come in, but a lot of money is coming in, so who is selling when we don't know what will happen?
Now, looking forwards, the business cycle is starting to pick up. So current ISM today is very lackluster. It's almost recessionary conditions, which is why many of you think we're in a recession right now. The forward-looking indicators are exploding higher, meaning we're all going to have some more money soon because the economy is going to be working better, our businesses will run better, our earnings will go up, and we'll feel a bit better about ourselves. That's what lies ahead and is at the essence of what matters in the banana zone. And you see the Financial Conditions Index, which is our lead in all of this. It's comprised of oil prices, the dollar, and rates, is also suggesting that ISM leads, and it's a pretty good indicator. So that it leads ISM, and by 9 months. So we kind of know the business cycle is going to be going up at least for 9 months and probably a lot longer. Now, here's where the magic happens. Altcoins, as a percentage of total market cap, so it's like the inverse of Bitcoin dominance, actually is driven by the business cycle. And that's because people take more risks and invest more money when they've got their earnings going up, when people think they've got a bit more money. And that is what drives altcoins. It's the same as small caps in equities. They're all driven by the same basic phenomena, which is the business cycle creates more activity, which creates more investment, which drives prices higher. So we've barely started. As I showed you before, ISM starts going up, altcoins go bananas. Now, when we measure altcoin season by using this 30-day outperformance, underperformance of Bitcoin, we're nowhere. We're still at 39%. That's mid-cycle range. We've got a long way to go. And that's when things get very excited. It tends to be the last 12 months of the 4-year season, that 4-year period. Those last 12 months are where all the returns come, and they lie ahead. Also, total liquidity is breaking out. We see these wedge patterns every time around the same time in the cycle. And then what happens is as soon as it breaks out, Bitcoin breaks out too. We're breaking out now. China is leading it. China's injected $8 trillion of liquidity so far since, I think, October, November 2022. Europeans about $1 trillion, the UK about $1 trillion. The US has actually been about flat, but we expect them to start injecting money soon via the Treasury General account. Okay. Global M2, it's a measure of private money. It leads by 11 weeks, Bitcoin. Perfect. And Bitcoin, banana zone. We keep going. So that looks great. Now, don't get fixated exactly it's going to be 100,000, but it seems in that kind of range. Basically, a strong end to the year and should get even stronger into next year.
Famous trader KRA Nuvo thinks a major Bitcoin price drop would wipe out late-long BTC entries based on recent all-time highs. Before the weekends, he expects a long squeeze. He consistently took a long-term view that supported his latest X Reports bullish story. He discussed Binance order book numbers and $77,000 liquidations. Yes, a long squeeze might eliminate longs. According to longtime industry veteran Patchy, the spot Binance order book liquidations will continue to boost demand. He said, "I find it unlikely that we see those prices again after trading so long in this range." After Bitcoin's March all-time high, it consolidated for 8 months. More desire ETFs. He also suggested retirement programs will disperse money, and several U.S. states want Bitcoin. From now on, global adoption will strengthen your EAS. Large setbacks are gifts. UK-based Fairride Investors says the spot ETF received $293 million on November 8th. This was over $1 billion less than the day before's record.
GMI total liquidity, another fantastic correlation, same kind of outcomes. Strong Bitcoin into the end of the year, and that's what we're looking for here. Ignore the corrected price action right now on that chart because it hooks up afterwards. So we should just continue over time higher. Okay. Are we anywhere near the cycle top? I know people fret, oh my God, but Bitcoin's at all-time high. Surely I'm going to be buying the top. Surely Raoul's shilling things at the top and he's trying to find exit liquidity and all the nonsense that people talk about online. Basically, our cycle liquidity indicator is nowhere near where it's going to go. Also, look at the acceleration that happens before it peaks out. We haven't done anything yet. This has been super mild. So expect the acceleration ahead. If we look at prior cycles, we're kind of nowhere in the current cycle. We're nowhere. We've still got the exciting part where prices go vertical lying ahead. It's the light blue line here that's a little bit hidden. But really what we're doing is we're more closely following, let's say, the 2015-18 cycle, which I think is how it plays out this time, as opposed to the stunted cycle of 2020. But that remains to be seen. Why this matters is crypto in the end is the best performing asset class in all recorded history. It dwarfs anything else. So Bitcoin does about 142% annualized returns. This is actually a table from Exponential Age Asset Management, my asset management firm that invests in crypto hedge funds. So we invest on behalf of high net worth individuals, pension plans, institutions, etc. And Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, the returns are an order of magnitude different to the next best performing asset, technology stocks, the NASDAQ. After that, you get to the S&P 500 of 13%, which barely beats that 11% hurdle rate, and nothing else beats it. The long-term returns of small caps, large caps, REITs, treasuries, nothing. They all are destroying your future wealth.
According to the Associated Press, Young Kim, a Republican, won her race in California's 40th congressional district. Susie Lee and Stephen Horford, both Democrats, won their races in Nevada's 3rd and 4th congressional districts, respectively. Vote Bitcoin PAC, a group backed by crypto mining executives, spent $35,000 to use crypto to help Republican David McCormick win the general election. Political campaign backed by a Bitcoin exchange, Coinbase, says that more than 200 candidates for the House and Senate in 2024 backed digital assets in blockchain. Supporters hope that the new U.S. President and Congress will help pass crypto-friendly laws like the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act. This bill will likely be voted on in the Senate after it passes the House in 2024. As a result of most U.S. politicians putting crypto and blockchain at the top of their list of priorities, Gary Gensler may lose his job as head of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Trump will fire Gensler right away if he wins again. Some candidates for 2024 directly attacked Gensler's plan to regulate crypto companies by enforcing the law. Coinbase, Ripple Labs, and Binance were all sued by the SEC 3 times.